Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and I am, of course, GeneralLotz. And today we're going to be playing F.E.A.R 2 Reborn. Why F.E.A.R 2 Reborn of all games? Well, for one, I just recently finished playing F.E.A.R 2 again, and I was rather impressed by it. When I first played it, I thought it was just okay. I thought it was consoleized and actionized and all the rest, and that's what I said specifically in my F.E.A.R 2 review on CGR Undertow. Eventually, I will be reviewing F.E.A.R 2 along with all the other F.E.A.R games on the main channel. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Although I just remembered, I did do F.E.A.R 3, so there is that. But I think I was in the wrong kind of mindset when I played F.E.A.R 2. I was thinking like, oh, it's not as good as the first game. And yeah, it's not as good as the first game, but it's still a pretty good game in its own right. F.E.A.R 2 Reborn is also a pretty bloody good DLC in its own right. You get to play as a clone trooper, and that is really, really cool. It's actually, different from the generic Modern Warfare style shooters that was all the rage when this game first came out. Hell, they're still all the rage today for whatever reason. Why am I not doing Darkest of Days or Turok 2008? That is because both of those games do not work with the RX 480 for whatever reason. And actually, Darkest of Days didn't work with my previous graphics card, the Asus 7770. Which was also an ATI card. And which is weird because I had a different... When I first played Darkest of Days and Turok 2008, I had an ATI card as well. I forget exactly what card that was. I still have it, although it doesn't work. I just am keeping it as a memento, seeing as how it was my first super powerful graphics card. It worked perfectly with Darkest of Days and Turok 2008, so I don't really know what changed between 2008 and now, other than a decade. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. I'm pretty sure there's some way I could make it work, but I just didn't... I could not be arsed to finish, or to fix all that. And I decided to play this one. So, let's jump right in. Now, F.E.A.R is an interesting franchise. F.E.A.R 1 and its expansions were pretty bloody good. I think one expansion was kind of crap, but I can't remember which one it was. I need to replay those. I haven't played them in a long time. The overall plot for the games are actually they're kind of like an anime plot. I mean, this is kind of like Akira, I guess, because like Akira, I don't know that much about Akira, to be perfectly honest, other than the broad strokes of the basic story, where like you have this super psychic guy and he can like destroy Tokyo or something. And like in this, you got Alma. She's like this super psychic girl, and she can destroy wherever we're at. The whole technology of the F.E.A.R universe doesn't make a lot of sense either. You would think that like all of this would be, set in a contemporary time, but then you got like power armor, okay? Powered armor being dropped from an orbital base. Like, how did Armacam afford an orbital base? How'd they shoot that up there? Is fucking Elon Musk working for them, I wonder? And then of course the clone troopers are kind of... Their descriptions are different from how they actually act in game. Like, Foxtrot here actually acts like a human being almost, and he actually sounds like a human being, but if you actually read the flavor text, he's only supposed to be able to understand like 3 or 4 voices or something, so it means he should have the intelligence of a dog. But what you have here is, this powered armor that would require a considerable amount of intelligence to operate. Okay, let's actually pop out of here. And yes, we can pop out whenever we want, which is really cool. We will grab the health pack and the pistol ammo. Now, one of the problems with that I have with F.E.A.R 2 is the AI is kind of crap at times. And for some reason, we're not getting any audio off of these enemy troops for some reason. I will check that in a moment. You can get audio off of me, so I don't know. Now, what you want to do when you play this, when you first start playing this game here, is you do want to pop out of your suit there for a little bit and shoot some of these guys on foot so you can capture their weapons. Because if you don't, you will get shot a lot when you get to a certain area. Because all you'll be armed with is a pistol, and they'll all have rifles. And yeah, that won't end too well. My favorite weapon in this game really is the submachine gun, just because it's so boring and practical. Let's grab the health pack here. But yeah, I think I was unfairly comparing this game to the previous F.E.A.Rs. And in that, I don't think that's very fair, because this was designed more for console play. Well, not more for console players, just more for consoles in general. And that's still not a bad thing. I mean, this is still a good game. I don't know. When I play certain games, I will not be in the right mindset. And so I will unfairly say, oh, this game's not that good. But when I say something is not that good, that doesn't necessarily mean whatever it is bad. It just means it's not as good. Alright, let's pop out of here again and grab us some goodies here. You got one of those evil assault rifles. Okay, let's actually go into the audio because this is truly... No one shall remain seated when we fix the sound effects options. Okay, do we want to... Okay, that was random. Okay, we'll turn the sound effects volume up and see if that does anything. I do not know if it will. Coffee. You know, despite being in my late 20s, I still don't like coffee. Okay, now we can hear them, but I hope you guys can still hear me. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. I'd rather you guys be able to still hear me, but not them. God, that's been way more difficult than you'd think. Trying to get all the audio equalized appropriately. I gotta spend more goddamn time doing audio equalization than I'd care to admit. But yeah, coffee. Still don't like coffee, despite being in my late 20s, you know? I just don't. Even like that super expensive Starbucks crap. I know people who do. Well, I know a lot of people love it, but... God damn it, where's that helo at? Because there's a helo out there somewhere. That's one of the problems. Actually, wait, all we gotta do is turn on Pred Vision. There he is. I see you, dude. You turn on Pred Vision and you can bloody well just see everything. I do like Pred Vision. It is really quite cool. Although that helicopter right there should be bright bloody red, because, you know, massive helicopters like that, yeah, they generally put off a great deal of heat. That actually reminds me of a movie I'm quite fond of. We lost another chopper. Well, that's another couple $1 million. We took a lot of damage there. Because I could not see the enemy. But seriously, though, you got Black Hawk helicopters, and then this, you know, powered armor. You got, you know, early 21st century, and really, I think the Black Hawk was actually an 80s design. But you got a Black Hawk helicopter, you got troops that are armed like, you know, basic troops from now, and then you got a power armored suit. It just doesn't make that much sense. And that like, Alma, I can understand. Believe it or not, I can understand Alma making a bit of sense, because it's like, okay, we have like a super secret, you know, psychic program. That I get, but the technology, it's like, how did they manufacture powered armor in secret? It's like that novel, Empire by Orson Scott Card. Where, like, the Empire by Orson Scott Card, man, should I even talk about that novel? Because you know people are going to get pissed off about that. Because people hate Orson Scott Card because of his political views, even though he's just a fucking writer. If I disliked people because of their political views, I wouldn't read or watch anything. But, yeah, Orson Scott Card wrote a novel, I think it was around 2008, if I'm not mistaken, called Empire. And I think it was supposed to be based on a video game or something along those lines. Or it was supposed to be a part of a video game, but then the game never got made. But in that, you of course have... This was around 2000... Maybe it wasn't 2008, because I don't think the previous administration was in office yet. So, I don't know. I think it could have been the tail end of the Bush era. Whatever the case may be, you of course had Republicans versus Democrats, like you have now. Except for whatever reason, the Democrats tried to take over the U.S., which... That's kind of pre-innocent, what with Antifa on the march and all that. Although they're not anywhere near like they were in the book. I'm not even going to try to conflate the two. But anyway, the Democrats in the novel had, I shit you not, battle mechs. They had battle mechs to try to... They took over New York City and tried to kill a bunch of people. You can kind of see where Orson Scott Card's political leanings are. I think he went a little too far in that. But still, though, battle mechs, I just don't, and I think this actually predates Facebook. Like, I don't buy, you know, Elon Musk or the other guy, the Facebook guy, you know, building battle mechs to try to take over the U.S. I don't really buy that. Okay, now see, we're about to crash because, of course, we had to walk on that thing, because as intelligent as old Foxtrot acts here, he apparently isn't that smart, because he doesn't realize that that couple-ton battle suit there can't be supported by a plank of wood. But if we didn't have... Oh crap, we gotta run. If we did not have the weapons we already do, we'd just be shredded over here. Because you have a pistol, these guys have fucking rockets, They got all kinds of cool stuff. So, yeah. And all you'd end up getting is, like, having a shotgun if you made it over there. I died so many times on this back in the day. Now, the DLC is a little more difficult than the base game, believe it or not. Now, it does get a little easier. Now, obviously, we don't have the really cool slow-mo yet. We'll get that later on. I do think that's a pretty cool nod, though, that we don't actually have it. I'd love to know why we can't hear their gunshots. I just do not want to risk you not being able to hear me. There's been so many Let's Plays. It's like, General, we can't hear. It's like, shit! You know, it's annoying to me, because I try to be as professional as I possibly can be. Which is to say, not as much as I'd like. But it is nice that he doesn't have the superpowers yet. We can hear the music really well, we just can't hear them shoot. Which I guess is not that big of a deal. But see, look, that's with all the guns. They're actually... It's like they actually gave these troops AI. Whatever next? But that is the funny thing about the F.E.A.R series, though. How in every game, your player character has to get, eventually, the ability to use slow-mo. I mean, it's quite amusing how it used to be the point man was the only guy who could go, who had the reflexes like that. And then later on, everybody has it. You know, it's particularly egregious in the expansion packs for F.E.A.R, where like just random guys have it. It is justified in F.E.A.R 2 though, because you get like genetically modified. Now that's really cool. The special effects in the game look nice, because unlike COD, you can actually play the bloody game. Now, any freezing we get happens even when I'm not recording, so it's just what it does whenever it saves the game for whatever reason. But that's my big problem with COD. That's why I always complain about the COD monster, is they don't let you play the game. It's the same way with Duke Nukem Forever too. You know, Duke Nukem Forever has some good moments in it, but it's just too much. Shit, we need to get some cover. We need to get over here. There's just too many cutscenes, or not even cutscenes. There's just too many moments where you, the player, don't get to actually play the goddamn game. Whereas in this, as you can see, we had an intro cutscene that was pretty cool. Now, if you know nothing about F.E.A.R, you're not going to have a clue what's going on. But I imagine most of you know what F.E.A.R is, and I imagine if you don't, you can Google it. But it starts up, you know the score. Paxton Fettel says, you know, he wants to be reborn, because see, though, if I don't tell you guys anything, I won't be spoiling anything. So, yeah, I won't spoil what that is. But it's really... But it tells you everything you need to know. You know, and that's really cool, even though no jet would fly that. And then there's the building crashing down. But once again, we're in full control of our character right now. It's not where, you know, you've got to press F to look at the cool thing. It's just, you keep playing the game. And that's what F.E.A.R 2 does quite well. It keeps you, the player, in control. Which just so many other games don't let you do. There's Foxtrot 1014. He's the coolest guy. He's the Joker of the group. Alright, so let's see. We've got this obvious ladder here. Because, well, why would there not be? Or obvious, you know, random piled staircase thing. Because video games. And because we can't pull ourselves up. Ever. Alright, and so, I am GeneralLotz. And we have just completed the first level of F.E.A.R. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're going to continue with the rest of the game.